For my final written essay, I wrote about the Black Plague and its religious reactions amongst Europe and the Middle East. Firstly, I compared the religious reaction of the Catholics to the Muslim population. With the Catholics, they chose a much more punishment-oriented approach. This was seen in the grouping called the Flagellants, where they would go around punishing themselves for their sins in an attempt to reduce the spread of the plague. In the Islam population, they chose a much more different approach. The Islam community saw the plague as simply God's will, or a test from God that could be overcome through prayer and community worship. For my secondary documents, I used Eber's The Black Death and Great Morality of 1348, where he details the events of the Flagellants and how they operated. For my secondary source for the Muslim community, I used the Prophetic Promises for Martyrs in Medina, where it showed that the plague was simply a test, and this had been examined in the Quran as well. For my primary sources, I used The Black Death by Rosemary Horrocks, where she details the events of the Christians from a primary first-hand account. And for my primary source in the Muslim community, I used the Travels of Ibn Battuta, where he shows firsthand the great community worship, prayers, and ceremonies they held. The main argument of my essay was that these religious reactions on both sides had negative consequences ultimately for the spread of the plague. On the Christian side, the Flagellants went in group masses of 1,000 from town to town in the town centers, gathering a large crowd. This could only have enhanced the spread of the plague. As for the Islam community, they gathered in large ceremonies, group prayers, and large feasts when no one had died. This as well, these large gatherings where everyone was breathing together, could only have enhanced the spread of the plague.